In this section, you will learn a few theorems about perpendicular lines, and also you will define the distance between a point and a line. So in the first diagram, you see angles 6 and 7 are congruent to each other. So we say if two lines intersect to form a linear pair of congruent angles, then the lines are perpendicular. Or I can write that as if angle 6 is congruent to angle 7, then M is perpendicular to N. Next diagram, you are given that the lines are perpendicular. So if two lines are given perpendicular, then they form four right angles. So we would state this as if P is perpendicular to Q, then angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, and angle 7 are right angles. And now I can go ahead and draw my four little angles. Note that if you're given two lines and you know one angle's congruent, when they intersect, then the other three also have to be congruent. Here you're given that two sides of two adjacent acute angles, the two sides of two. So let's say these are the two sides of the two adjacent acute angles. The angles we're talking about are angles 8 and 9. So what we are saying is, if we did not label this line, but never mind, we'll label it M and label the other one N. So we are saying that if M is perpendicular to N, if M is perpendicular to N, then angle 8 and angle 9 are complementary. Just a reminder, complementary means angles that add up to 90 degrees. If a transversal is perpendicular to one of the two parallel lines, so here in this diagram you see that it is transversal T is perpendicular to line A, then it will also be perpendicular to line B. So we say that if, didn't mean that. So we'll say if T is perpendicular to A, which happens to be parallel to B, then T is perpendicular to B. If you think about it, this angle here, if lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles postulate says that angle 1 here would be congruent to angle 2. These are corresponding angles given that the lines are parallel. So if angle 1 is 90, angle 2 has to be 90 also. And if two lines intersect at a right angle, then by definition they are perpendicular. In the difference in this diagram, you are given that these two lines L and M are both perpendicular to A. So we can conclude from that that they are parallel to each other. Well, look at these two angles. These are consecutive angles. They add up to 180 degrees. So therefore, by the consecutive angles converse theorem, L and M have to be parallel. So we are saying if L is perpendicular to A and M is perpendicular to A, then L is perpendicular to M. Now the distance between 2 points is just the length of the segment from point to point. That's simple. But when we want to measure the distance from a point P to, say, line A, then the distance is the shortest distance, and the shortest distance is the perpendicular distance from point P to line A. So if you extend that a little bit more, then if you're given two parallel lines and we want to determine what the distance between the two of them is, what we want to do is we want to construct a segment which is perpendicular to both, and that would be the distance, this highlighted distance here, between lines, let's call this, what letters? E and F. So if this distance was 8 inches, for example, we would say the distance between lines E and F is